My name is Liz Montgomery. I'm a Safe Sleep educator and the executive director of INWSIDS Foundation, and I am here today to talk about safe infant sleep. And we're going to cover the ABCs of safe infant sleep during this presentation. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about our foundation. We are located right here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we have free Safe Sleep 101 classes. This is actually the class that we're filming today, but you can also come to our office in Coeur d'Alene at 1130 North 4th Street and take a class in person. Everybody who takes this Safe Sleep 101 class, each baby gets a free Halo sleep sack. So we'd love to have you down and get you updated on the American Academy of Pediatric Guidelines for Safe Infant Sleep. Today's presentation, we're going to go over the ABCs of safe sleep so you can learn how to keep your baby safe during sleep. Everything from our presentation is taken directly from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the National Institute of Health, and the Center for Disease Control. So please be assured that all the information presented today is going to be the most updated, best research information that we have available. So the first slide I want to talk about is what is SIDS? What is SUID? They're probably relatively newer terms to you. Sudden infant death syndrome and sudden unexpected infant death. So sudden unexpected infant death is an umbrella category that houses SIDS and unsafe sleep-related accidental deaths. So what we know is that we get about 3,500 deaths a year in the United States from sudden unexpected infant death. We also know that 90% of these deaths may have been preventable as these infants were found in unsafe sleep environments. So pillows, blankets, tummy sleeping, bed sharing. So these are preventable accidents. We still do have true sudden infant death syndrome deaths, but the majority of our deaths really are accidental sleep-related deaths. So how can we prevent our accidental sleep-related deaths, such as suffocation, strangulation, overheating, and smothering, and reduce your baby's risk for sudden infant death itself? We're going to follow the ABCs of safe infant sleep. And I don't know if you've seen, but if you live in Kootenai County, our ambulances, we've partnered with our local fire, EMS, and police, and they have put the ABCs of safe sleep stickers on the back of their ambulances to remind parents to sleep their babies safely. So keep your eye out next time you are driving in Coeur d'Alene or actually anywhere in Kootenai County. You might see those stickers. Let's start with alone. Let's start with the A, the letter A. The letter A is for alone. Your baby needs to sleep alone in its safe sleep environment. That doesn't mean up in their own room upstairs in the dark alone. It means in their own safe sleep environment. Bed sharing is when an infant sleeps with an adult maybe on a couch or on a bed. And actually that's really dangerous. The mattress on the adult bed is really soft and baby's chin can go to its chest and pinch off the airways. So that's a really big issue with sleeping in an adult bed. And also it takes 5 pounds of pressure for 5 minutes for a baby to suffocate. So that could be your arm, that could be your leg, that could be a pillow, that could be a blanket. And it's really fast and the babies aren't able to cry out for help. So please keep your baby in its own safe sleep environment. The next thing is alone. It means nothing in the crib. So no toys, no pillows, no blankets, no sleeping with pets. If you have twins, they each need to have their own crib. We refer to that as co-bedding when they sleep together, but now the recommendation is to keep them each in their own separate sleep environment. Crib bumpers are definitely something that is very popular in the stores. But what we know and what our research shows us is that they can be a suffocation hazard, they can be a strangulation hazard. Babies can roll into them, they can get the ties on the bumper, wrapped around their neck. We also get questions about the breathable bumpers. And so we also know that the breathable bumpers, they can become a strangulation hazard for your baby. Okay, so please, just nothing in the crib, no type of bumpers, no toys, no blankets, no pillows. And so what we know about crib bumpers is that they were invented probably in the 50s because cribs, the slats on the cribs were really far apart and babies were getting severely injured. Their bodies were getting stuck, their heads were getting stuck, and so the crib bumper was invented. But now our cribs are really, really safe, and the slats are much closer together, so we're not gonna have those types of life-threatening injuries. We might get a bump on the head or maybe a broken arm at the most, but we're definitely not gonna have a suffocation hazard because we're gonna keep those bumpers out, okay? The next recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics is that we do not wanna have blankets in the crib with a sleeping infant, okay? They can become a suffocation hazard, a strangulation hazard, and an overheating hazard. And so what the recommendation is to monitor the room temperature that your baby's sleeping in. A good temperature is 65 to 72 degrees. We don't want to add blankets, maybe one more layer for that baby, but beyond that, just monitor the room temperature. Don't add any blankets to the baby's sleep environment. Now, I mentioned sleep sacks at the beginning, that every family gets a free Halo sleep sack. So I'm gonna show you what that is. I'm gonna show you a few safety tips about that. Okay, so this is an example of a newborn swaddle sleep sack, okay? This sleep sack is a wearable blanket, so it replaces the loose blankets in the crib. It gives that baby an extra layer, and so, but this isn't a suffocation, strangulation, or overheating hazard because it's wearable. So the preemies and the newborn sleep sacks have a swaddle piece attached to them, okay? And so the reason that they're attached, one, the swaddle piece, is if your baby does like to be swaddled, it doesn't come off and get up in their face. So the other good thing about having the newborn sleep sack is that it can be swaddled under the baby's arms. If they like to have their arms out, that's totally fine, just like this, okay? Now, if you need to swaddle your baby's arms in, put their arms down, and we want you to swaddle at a V away from the baby's face, just in case that sleep sack might bunch up here. We don't want it to ever bunch up. So just keeping this at a V will help it not do that. So the newborn sleep sacks have a swaddle piece attached, but we want your baby in a sleep sack all the way through their first birthday. So at the size small, medium, and large, they don't even come with this swaddle piece, which we're gonna talk about safe swaddling in just a minute, but I wanna show you an example of a larger size sleep sack. Okay, so this is an example of a size small, actually, sleep sack. And notice it doesn't have the swaddle piece on it. There's a really good reason for that, and it's a safety reason, because the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends not swaddling after 8 weeks of age. Or if they're showing signs of rolling over, it needs to stop sooner. So your cutoff for arm-in swaddling is 8 weeks of age, okay? So we also want to show you how some examples of safe swaddling with a blanket. Now remember, we can only swaddle with a blanket if that baby is not rolling and is younger than 8 weeks of age. So we want to make sure that the blanket swaddle is a light blanket, and we swaddle at chest level, not up over the shoulders, not up over the head, chest level with a light blanket, making sure that that swaddle is not too tight and it's not too loose. I also want to remind you that swaddling is not a risk reduction technique for sudden infant death. It's just something that we do that might help soothe your baby. Our next letter is the letter B. B is for back. Back to sleep for every sleep. This includes nap time and nighttime. We don't ever want to roll up receiving blankets and put them on either side of the baby to make sure that they don't roll. We don't ever want to use any sort of wedge or device to keep them on their backs or their sides. Those can be a suffocation hazard for your baby. So back to sleep for every sleep. Why not tummy sleeping? Well, tummy sleeping, their face is right in the mattress. And also we know that their heart rates and their blood pressures tend to drop when they're sleeping on their tummies. They can also overheat more easily when they're sleeping on their tummies because the heat tends to pool in the core area of their body when it's against the mattress like that, versus when they're on their backs, that heat can be distributed more evenly throughout their bodies. Do you know when it is safe, or is it safe, for a baby to sleep on their tummies? The answer is that there is a time when it is safe when a baby can sleep on its tummy. So when your baby can roll front to back and back to front on its own and on a consistent basis, they can choose their sleep position. Now this is assuming that you have absolutely nothing in your crib and you start your baby on its back, okay? So once baby can roll front to back and back to front, they can choose their sleep position. But if your baby is only rolling one way and you see that your baby has rolled onto its tummy, I want you to go ahead and roll them back. But please don't stay up over the crib all night making sure that your baby doesn't roll, okay? Let's talk about incline sleep. So incline sleep, there are some issues with incline sleep. So that means when your baby's at an angle, sleeping at an angle, such as this, okay? Some issues for incline sleep is baby's chin can go to their chest and pinch off their little airways. They can also slide down to the bottom of the crib and end up in an unsafe sleep position at the bottom of their crib. Okay, so no inclined sleep. We need a flat, firm surface for every sleep. So a question that we get very often is, well, won't my baby choke if it spits up while sleeping on its back? So I want to introduce you to a really good short clip that will show you how that works and why babies don't choke when they spit up while sleeping on their back. You can go to our website, INWSIDS.org, and under the resource tab is this exact video. So feel free to share it with grandparents and anybody else that might be caring for your baby.
Hi, my name is Gail Bagwell, and I am an advanced practice nurse here at Nationwide Children's Hospital, and I'm going to talk to you today about why babies don't choke when lying on their backs. When a baby is ready to go to bed, you want to put them in a safety-approved crib on their backs. Nothing should be in the crib. You should have a nice fitted mattress, fitted sheet on your mattress, as well as no bumper pads and no toys or other stuff in the baby's crib. The baby needs to go onto the back because the American Academy of Pediatrics has found that by placing the babies on their backs, there's a less incidence of the baby dying from sudden infant death syndrome or other sleep-related deaths. A lot of people will ask, but won't my baby choke if they're laying on their back and they start to vomit? And the answer is actually no, they will not. When your baby sleeps on his back, the air pipe, which is also known as the trachea, lies on top of the food pipe, which is known as the esophagus. While on the back, if your baby spits up, it is harder for the spit up to go into the air pipe due to gravity. However, when your baby sleeps on his stomach and spits up, it is easier for him to choke because the spit up will gather at the back of the throat and can go right into the air pipe, causing the baby to breathe the spit up into their lungs. So it is always best to put your baby on their back to sleep for all sleeps, nap time, and bedtime.
C. The letter C is for crib. Your baby needs to sleep in a safety-approved crib, cradle, bassinet, or portable crib, otherwise known as a pack-and-play. So, how do you know if your device or your sleep environment is safe? So let's talk about crib safety really quick. So we want to make sure that it has a flat, firm surface. Cribs oftentimes come with, well, you're going to have to buy a crib mattress. And so we want you to find the most firm mattress that you can find for that crib. You want to make sure it fits nice and tight around the edges of the crib and that there's not any gaps so your baby doesn't get stuck in those gaps. So make sure that mattress fits nice and tight in your crib. We also want to make sure that your crib meets current safety standards. I want you to check the manufacture date on your crib, your bassinet, your cradle, or your play yard to make sure that it's up to current safety standards. You can do a quick Google search, just put in the make and model of your crib, bassinet, cradle, or pack and play, and check for any recalls and to make sure that they're up to current safety standards. So if you are getting a crib, bassinet, cradle, or play yard that's being passed down, I want you to make sure that there aren't any loose screws, there aren't any missing pieces, there aren't any holes in the mesh, that it's nice and sturdy and safe. Now, if you need a crib, I would like you to call our foundation and we might be able to help you out with a safe sleep environment, a portable crib, just like this one, through our Cribs for Kids program for a pack and play. So please don't hesitate to call us if you need that safe sleep environment for your baby. The other thing I want you to make sure is that you have a tight fitted sheet. If you're using a sheet, you don't necessarily have to use a sheet with the portable cribs, pack and plays, but if you are using a sheet, make sure it's nice and tight and fitted on that mattress so it doesn't come up and get loose over your baby's face. So let's review what your baby's crib should look like for every sleep. No pillows, no blankets, no toys, no other babies, no other adults in the baby's sleep environment. We want a firm mattress with a tightly fitted sheet. We want you to dress your baby in light clothing. You can use a sleep sack, a wearable blanket if you would like. We also want to make sure that nothing covers your baby's head during sleep. That can be an overheating risk. We want you to make sure that nothing covers your baby's head during sleep. Wearing a hat could be an overheating hazard for your baby. Now in the hospital, they wear a hat because they can't yet regulate their own body temperature. But once they get home, they should be able to do that on their own, so no hats during sleep. Also, we want you to remember, back is best. Always back to sleep for every single sleep. S, the letter S, ABCs of safe sleep, is smoke-free air. It's really important that we don't expose the infants to maternal smoking, secondhand smoke, and even third-hand smoke. Maternal smoking, so smoking while you're pregnant, puts your baby at 3 times greater risk for sudden infant death syndrome. Babies exposed to secondhand smoke have a 2.5 times greater risk of sudden infant death syndrome. If you have a family member who smokes and would like to hold your baby, make sure that they wash their hands, pull their hair back, and put a clean barrier between the infant and them while they hold your baby. So, the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies need to sleep alone, on their backs, in their crib, in a smoke-free environment. Now that we've talked about safe infant sleep, I want to discuss some products that are on the market that you might not know that are not safe for sleeping. The first product I'd like to talk to you about is a box. Now, yes, this box has a flat, firm surface, but it does not meet the current safety standards of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. So, yes, we would rather have your baby sleep in a box, a dresser drawer, or even a laundry basket rather than in your bed, but only for an emergency situation. The second product that we're going to talk about is a DockATot. Sometimes they're called pods, sometimes they're called nests, and these products are made to go in the adult bed. So, what's wrong with the adult bed? It's too soft of a surface, remember? Chin to chest, baby's airways can be pinched. So it's made to put on a soft surface. And also, if you can see those bumpers that are surrounding that device, those babies can roll right into that and suffocate. The third product we'd like to talk about are the amber teething necklaces. The Consumer Product Safety Commission just released a statement on the amber teething necklaces that they're a choking and a strangulation hazard for babies and actually toddlers. There's no data that shows that they work. They're more of a hazard to your baby. The third product I'd like to talk about is a very popular product because it's inexpensive and it can be easily transported, say, to grandma's house. Okay, this is called a rock and play. It has other names too, of course, but as you can see, that baby is sleeping at an angle. And remember, the issue with baby sleeping at an angle, chin can go to his chest and pinch off their airways. Older babies in these have also been known to twist around and get their face into the fabric of that device. I also want you to take note of in that device, there is a buckle. So manufacturers put buckles on devices because there's a falling hazard. Usually when there's a falling hazard, that baby's sleeping at an angle. So one question you can ask yourself if you're looking at a product for your sleeping infant is, does it come with a buckle? If it comes with a buckle, guaranteed it doesn't meet current safety standards from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. So no buckles. The next product I'd like to talk to you about is an over-the-counter monitor. Oftentimes these monitors are wrapped around baby's foot or clipped to baby's diaper, and they monitor oxygen and heart rates of your infant. And please know that we don't want you to rely on these monitors to keep your baby safe during sleep, okay? We don't want you to get a false sense of security that, oh, my baby likes to sleep on its tummy, but it's on this monitor, so they're gonna be safe. A study just came out about these monitors and showed that 20% of the time they are incorrect. So they go off when they shouldn't, or they don't go off when they should. If your baby needs a monitor, your pediatrician will prescribe you one. And it's gonna be a hospital grade monitor, not an over-the-counter monitor. The next product I'd like to talk to you about is the portable cribs. So I wanna make sure that you understand that if you see those 2 green check marks, those are totally safe. That's what we showed previously in the film. But the 2 products that are on top, that's a changing table and a bouncy seat type device. Those aren't gonna be safe for sleep, but the bassinet piece and of course that mattress drops, that's gonna be safe, but not those 2 devices on top. Now they're fine for awake time, just not for sleeping. So what about baby wearing? It's a great choice for many families. We wanna make sure that you know the safety tips for baby wearing. So making sure that your baby is upright, just like this in a front pack, making sure baby's head is within kissable distance. We also wanna make sure that baby's head is turned to the side and that you're monitoring for overheating. Sweat on the brow, sweat on the back of the neck, rapid breathing are signs of an overheated baby. So what about bouncy seats and swings? Well, they come with a buckle, so that's gonna be your first indication that they're not safe. Because the baby's sleeping at an angle, baby's chin can go to chest, again, pinching off those airways. If those babies fall asleep in those devices, make sure that they come out and you put them in their safe sleep environment. So what about car seats? They come with buckles. Are they safe for sleep? Perfectly fine to buckle your baby in while you're driving and they fall asleep. Totally fine. But once you get to where you're going, baby needs to come out of that car seat and in their safe sleep environment, or of course you can hold a sleeping baby. But no sleeping in a car seat, they're not designed for that. Again, we have the chin to chest issue that can pinch off those babies' airways. What about nursing pillows? So sometimes they're called a boppy pillow. Again, that's a suffocation hazard, just like any other pillow. They're great for nursing and what they're intended for, but not with a sleeping infant. So what about pacifiers? Pacifiers are a risk reduction technique for sudden infant death. So once breastfeeding's been established, feel free to introduce that pacifier. If you're bottle feeding, that pacifier can be introduced at any time. Some safety tips on pacifiers. Some of those pacifiers come with a little stuffed animal hooked to the end of them. That can definitely be a suffocation hazard. Some of them have a clip that hooks the clip to the clothes. That's great for awake time at the grocery store, but be sure to remove that before sleep. I'm gonna now show you a video produced by Cradle Cincinnati and our friends at Charlie's Kids Foundation.
I remember feeling a little bit anxious on the day he was born.
The 9 months leading up to his birth was just full of anticipation and excitement.
It was just so thrilling, and I mean, it was scary, but
she was perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes.
When he was born, it was just amazing to hear his cry and see his face.
oh, the coolest thing was just how in love I was with him.
I didn't have any worries besides what diapers I was going to choose. Everything was great. She was beautiful.
When When we found Charlie, we knew something was wrong.
I went to work that day and everything was fine. I expected to come home and everything be fine. Everybody went to sleep. She was already asleep.
I sat down on the couch, was watching TV, and I nodded off to sleep with Charlie sitting on my chest.
I woke up to my baby not responding.
No one found him until, it was too late. He was blue.
Because I had tried CPR on her.
I wasn't at the point where I was believing that this could be really happening to our baby.
So, I'm still thinking, like, okay, maybe she's just going to wake up out of it. And then when the ambulance came, I learned that it was a co-bedding accident where her father fell asleep with her on the couch and she was accidentally smothered.
It wasn't until we had to make the call to stop CPR that I knew that he was gone.
When my daughter passed away, every dream and hope that I had for her also was gone.
Even though my wife was a kindergarten teacher and I'm a pediatrician, it happened to us, and it can happen to anyone.
You blame yourself, you go through what is and why, but
We know that there are things that you can do to lower your risk for SIDS deaths.
the baby must sleep alone. I always sleep on their back, and I always sleep in a crib.
ABC is a great way to remember it. Alone back crib.
A stands for alone. The baby needs to be in their crib without bumpers and blankets and stuffed animals.
Yeah, a lot of parents say that I've had, 3 children already. They've slept in bed with me. This was really beneficial for mom bonding to baby.
But the evidence suggests that it's not safe.
The baby needs to be on their back.
Because when babies sleep on their side or on their belly, their face is up against the mattress or up against the pillow. And as a result, they can't breathe.
And the baby needs to be in their crib, in their own space.
If you can't afford a crib, then just dial 211 or get a hold of Cradle Cincinnati because they can provide you with a free crib.
It's important that the parents follow the ABCs of safe sleep, but it's also very important that the parents tell everyone and anyone else who's going to be with the baby about these rules.
Our parents didn't have these precautions to go by. And so if they revert back to what they did with us, then they're not following what we know now.
The message has changed because the science has told us that something's new.
Whether it's grandparents, or daycare workers, babysitters.
It's really important that that person put the baby alone on their back and in a crib.
If they can't do what's expected of them, then they don't deserve to watch the baby.
Because this is your child, and it really matters how this is handled.
We share information about the best diapers to buy and the best food to feed our baby. So we should also be sharing information about safe sleep.
You're gonna be tired and the stress level is gonna be high. You just have to have your network of support, family members, friends, neighbors. There's a community of people out there that can all help. But I don't want to scare anybody. I just want them to let people know it's very real.
Who wouldn't want to do something simple to save their baby's life?
I think if I could tell a new parent anything, it would be, I know it's hard. I've been in your shoes. But keep your baby safe. Put your baby alone on their back in a crib for every single sleep.
As you can see in that video, SIDS and unsafe sleep accidents, they don't discriminate. It can happen to anybody. We urge you to follow the safe sleep guidelines. I'd like to quickly introduce you to my son, Mason. He died at 5.5 months old in an unsafe sleep accident, sleeping on a couch. In 2003, we didn't have the safe sleep recommendations that are now out, but you do. We know safe sleep can be hard, can be difficult, but please follow the ABCs of safe sleep.